Yeah. Oh, no. Most certainly can.
All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Let's Have a Real Conversation podcast. I was just trying to do the intro.
That was a good intro. Keep that.
Niggas. You see what I'm saying, Chris?
Listen. We got the new setup. By the way, I'm Dashing D and this is JD. We got the new setup here. Well, we don't know if it's new. We're trying it out. We might be back in the closet.
Next week? Oh, next pod?
Next pod. You know, we'll see what happens. You know, I don't even know if this is capturing my best side, honestly.
Not your best side. What's your best side?
I don't know. I have a friend, though, that when we take pictures, she only takes pictures on one side.
On her good side?
Yeah. I don't even know what side
it is.
Years
ago, I had a situation like that.
Really?
I don't know what happened, but for like 2 years, I had a bald spot in my beard situation.
Oh, you had one of those beards that don't connect?
No. I literally had like a bald spot right there. Oh. I don't know.
How'd
I guess
you
a mishap shaving or something. I mean, just a hairy guy.
Hair club for men?
No. Just nature.
Okay.
Nature just came in and was like, I got your hairy back, Claire.
I give it right back to you. All right.
Nature said, I got your back.
I dig that.
But yeah, so I used to do that for a minute. I was like, no, I don't want the side.
No, please.
Get my good side.
Of me.
This is the side we want. This side. Get this side. Get the side. Thanks.
I don't know what my good side is. I've tried to figure it out too because I hear people say it and I'm like, what is my good side?
Probably some Hollywood myth bullshit, to be honest.
I think I take pictures best when they're candid, though. I can't, like...
That's what my sister says. My sister does, well, you know, but they probably don't know. Mm-hmm. My sister does fashion photography, and she always says the best pictures are unplanned. They're candid, not planned.
Yeah. When I was blogging, I would just, like, spin around, and whoever was taking photos of me, whichever still image came out well, that was the one that made it to the blog. I find that, if I twirl around or I dance or those are the best photos of me where I'm just like, or I'm laughing awkwardly because I'm just awkward when I take photos. Those are always the best photos of me. So, it's not really about my good side. It's about, did my personality shine through? Because
Here we go.
All right. Well, so we're in a new... sort of new space.
You want to tell them where we're at now? We're keep it hidden.
So we're still in.
We don't got to tell them.
I mean, we're still in Hardly Minding My Business headquarters.
Oh wow! Look at that. Wow, tax write-offs, folks.
Listen, okay.
Thank you for that.
We are still.
Someone's been watching Earn Your Leisure.
We have just relocated. We're still in Hardly Minding My Business headquarters. And maybe the new home of Let's Have a Real Conversation. We'll see. We have no idea. I'm freaking out because normally we can see ourselves and we can't see ourselves today. Yep. So I have no idea what this is gonna look like.
Different camera setup today, so good times.
I'm stressed, but we'll make it through. So we might as well get started.
So let's start with something that people have been hitting us up about.
Yeah. People
have been asking us, how come our Kanye episode, which just dropped on Friday, did not cover some of the more recent events that have gone on with Kanye? Why has it not covered the things that have happened since the White Lives Matter shirt? Mm-hmm. Well, there's a very simple answer. We haven't podded since then. Mm-hmm. Truth be told, if you watch our pod, you can see we had the same exact clothing on in our last 2 episodes. Yeah. So our regular episode and the Kanye episode were actually recorded
on the same day. Right.
So that's why. Because when we recorded, it was up to the minute Kanye stuff.
Right.
It's not our fault that this nigga been wilding the fuck out and there've been lots of consequences. So that's the answer to everyone who's been hitting us up, asking why we don't have that Kanye information. Why didn't we discuss it? Why didn't we comment on it? But if you want our thoughts on the White Lives Matter stuff, that was on our last regular episode, and we touched on it briefly in the Kanye episode. And now, let's pick up where we left off 2 episodes ago, or I should say in our last couple episodes, back at the Kanye of it all. We interrupt your regular podcasting experience to bring you an update on top of the update. Yes, we already recorded our episode, but so much bullshit and so many updates have been going on with Ye, Kanye, Mr. West, that we felt the need to come in here and do a special update because we like y'all. And we don't want y'all to feel like, man, they didn't address none of the shit that happened. But truth be told, we were ready to drop this episode on Tuesday when the world was wilding out.
Yeah.
When the world said, who, Kanye? No, leave that nigga outside. So
send him to the door.
So here we are.
So
I'm sure y'all know.
I'm stressed about all of this.
Why?
Is just because it's just too much. It's too much. I'm tired of talking about Kanye.
Let me give you the floor. Let me let you aid my gig.
It is annoying. It is ridiculous. It is also harmful, and it shouldn't happen, and it doesn't make any sense. And it's like,
what shouldn't happen?
All his bullshit. So, Kanye makes all these anti-Semitic comments. He makes the comments about George Floyd. And then, everybody starts going, anti-Semitism? We don't like that.
Now, wait a minute.
We don't like that. Kanye could talk about black people all he wants.
But when you talk about those guys.
Which guys? Right. Right. Kanye could talk all he wants about this person and that person, but don't let him talk about certain people.
Certain people who have board seats. Certain people who, speak up and take action when things go wrong.
Right. So I have mixed emotions because I feel like, what about us? But beyond that, what Kanye said was ridiculous. It was egregious. It shouldn't have happened. We're clear on that. And Kanye is now feeling it in a lot of different ways. When we first recorded the episode, he had been dropped from Balenciaga. Adidas came out again and said, don't forget, guys, he's under review right now.
Right. A little reminder.
Just a little reminder. No, we're not really fucking with him like that. We're just trying to figure out the legalities of this contract. Right. That's basically what they were telling us.
Yeah, we with the lawyers trying to figure shit out.
Right. And then there was somewhere else that I think we noted. I can't remember right now, but I'm gonna give the list of the companies that have cut ties.
Let them know.
With Kanye.
Everybody.
The Gap has finally figured out their... Well, no. The Gap dropped him in September, but the Gap came back out in the last couple of days and said, well, we still had Yeezy items in our stores. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to take all the Yeezy items out of our stores.
Immediately.
It's
over.
Instagram and Twitter, which I think we already knew this, they suspended him. This happened on October 10th. So we already knew this. After the anti-Semitic posts, they both suspended Ye from using social media or those social media platforms.
Right.
JP Morgan Chase, that was the other one that we talked about before. JP Morgan Chase no longer wants to do business with Kanye.
Right. They said find somewhere else to put your money.
Exactly.
All $4.
So Def Jam is on the list, which I was trying to figure out the timeline of the Def Jam stuff.
So I looked into it a little bit.
Okay.
And his contract was done after Donda. So they're basically saying, we don't want to do any further business.
Yeah. Right. Because it says the label is also reportedly no longer distributing releases from the rapper's Good Music imprint.
Right. Which that remains to be seen, but we'll see. Because, Pusha T is head of Good Music. So I don't know how long that's gonna stay. Pusha T has a good relationship with Def Jam. It may just change the way things are as far as the distribution, but I can't see Good Music being completely isolated.
Exactly. And then we have, we said Balenciaga already. He was also dropped from the talent agency CAA. They represented him for touring. That was the part that they were involved with. They have dropped him.
Can't even tour no more.
Apparently he hasn't toured since 2016.
The Donda stuff didn't count as a tour?
I don't think so.
Or...
Because he didn't really do a tour. He kept saying, oh, I think I'm going to release the album next week, so why don't you guys come and listen to it? It wasn't really a tour.
So Sunday service either? They were pop-ups?
No, I guess they were pop-ups. It wasn't considered a tour.
One thing about us, we're going to find a loophole.
I mean, listen, because, you know...
We're going to find a loophole. Touring? No, I'm doing pop-ups in different cities.
I'm taking the choir to the field.
That's all.
I'm not going on tour.
That's not an arena.
I don't need a promoter.
I ain't in MetLife.
Sorry, no. I may or may not sell my socks here, but who knows? Who really knows? Because you know the socks were a big deal when he started selling the socks. The socks were like $100, and he was like, "Come one, come all, come rich, come poor." Didn't make any sense.
Yeah, $100 socks.
Like for what? Like what does the sock do? Does it also help you tie your shoe? It's ridiculous. MRC. Okay, so it says, I don't know a lot about MRC, but I'm going to read this. It says, shortly after CAA's move went public, film and television production company MRC declared it would shelve a completed documentary about West rather than distribute it.
And it was supposed to be distributed through Netflix, is the word I read. I don't know how true that is, but that's the rumor.
Yeah,
I don't know. But it was a completed doc.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah,
I mean,
I saw that as well.
We know that Adidas was under review, but since yesterday, Adidas has announced that fuck him.
Right.
We're not doing this anymore. I've said this to you off pod. I'll say it again. If I was Adidas, I didn't know that Adidas was a German company, and so that puts things into perspective a little bit more for me. But if it wasn't, if I was them, I would jerk him around in that contract for the next year or so, just to fuck with him.
They're gonna fuck with him in other ways because their statement said that we own all the designs for the Yeezys.
Right. Up until I think 2024. But yeah, I would definitely fuck with him. He has, if nothing else, he has just created publicity that nobody asked for. So I would fuck with him. I really would.
Right.
And you know, normally I'm on the other side of things where I'm like, don't fuck with creators like that. That's not cool. But fuck him.
Okay. Tell him how you really feel.
That's where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at. Because now we had to take extra time.
Yeah. To
record this because he can't act right for a couple days.
Fucking up my whole week.
Right. Foot Locker decided on October 25th. This was yesterday that they are pulling all Yeezy shoes from their shelves. You will not be able to find Yeezy shoes at Foot Locker. Me and you talked about this. We don't think it's going to be that simple. We don't think it's going to be that clean, I should say.
Right. So if you got one of those, hold on to that shit.
Right. Because people.
If you work at Foot Locker, make sure you.
You know, if it fell off the truck, it fell off the truck. What they gonna do with them?
I mean, does it count as inventory if we getting rid of it?
I doubt it does, and I have a feeling what these companies may do is give it away if people are willing to take it, because what else would they do with it?
Employees take that shit. The flip is gonna be nuts.
Listen. Jaylen Brown and Aaron Donald, which we both said we didn't know that Donda Sports was a thing, but he has a sports agency apparently called Donda Sports, and Jaylen Brown and Aaron Donald said, well, you know what? We can't do this. We can't be associated with this. We don't want any parts of this. So we're gonna leave and find other representation that is not Donda Sports. I will make the note that, and I think that's the last big one. I'm sure there are more, but this is the list as of this morning. Antonio Brown, who apparently is the head of Donda Sports.
Yo.
Yo, niggas really stand together. Niggas really be standing together on some bullshit sometimes. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, if you don't know who Antonio Brown is, look him up.
And his statement.
Cause
that was a doozy.
He said, listen, y'all don't care about black people. That's what I gathered from it.
Yep.
Y'all don't care about black people, so why should I give a fuck about y'all? So I'm gonna stand with Kanye. He's my brother. He used that specific term.
That's what he said.
He's my brother. I'm gonna stand with him. Y'all don't allow people to make mistakes. I was like, mistakes?
Which I don't know how he said mistakes, because the man said, and it's on video, he said, I can make anti-Semitic comments and Adidas won't drop me. Well, yay.
How you doing business with a German company talking about I can make anti-Semitic comments? It doesn't make any sense. And I know a lot of people think Kanye is not in his right mind, but as I said on this podcast a couple weeks ago, if Kanye keeps saying that we need to stop saying that something is wrong with his mental health, then I'm not saying that anymore. I'm not making excuses for him anymore. If he needs help, he should go get help. But other than that, no, he's a grown-up. And there are plenty of people with mental health issues that we don't have this problem with. So...
What you think about people saying all of this was to get out of contracts, but it exploded?
Oh, I absolutely believe that. I absolutely believe he did this to get out of his contract with Adidas, especially now that I know that it's a German company, and Gap, because Gap is such a safe brand that you would have to know that Gap wouldn't be okay with that. I think that that's absolutely what he did, and I think, yes, it blew up in his face.
Yeah. It's really interesting. It's really interesting to see how quick things happened and the way that they happened, right? Like, it started with the tweets.
Yep.
Then he went on Drink Champs. Nori and them put it out. The shop chose not to put out their episode that they had in the tuck. And everything, all hell broke loose after that. And Nori pulling episode, editing the episode, the disclaimer. And it's really interesting to see that. And after that, it just snowball effect. Mm-hmm. It's really interesting to see that. I want to just note, because it's not going to be in the regular part of the episode, because we edited it to do this. We actually spoke in depth about everything that happened prior to him losing all of these companies. Mm-hmm. And maybe one day we'll put it out, maybe we won't, who knows. But I just want to note that Nori did not pull the episode as everyone is reporting. No. What Nori did was edit the episode because they saw what was going to happen. I believe that a phone call came from up top, and Revolt and Diddy were like, what the fuck are y'all doing? This needs to change. And I think that's why we got the disclaimer. I think that's why we got, the quote unquote pulled episode, which really is edits. And Kanye's in a world of trouble. What happens is, it's one thing to wild out to get out of a contract, but when you're targeting and saying certain things about people, I'm not going to repeat what he said. It's online if y'all want to go find it. You're going to upset powerful people. And not only that, but, this is kind of weird to say, but our culture is forgiving.
It's true.
And we'll let you slide. Oh, you wild out. Oh, you do bad things to kids. Man, but you make great R&B music. Oh, you beat up women. Man, but, you be making hit records. Oh, man, you say fucked up shit about black folks. But, man, college dropout. Other cultures are not with that shit. Other cultures are, what'd you say? Okay, let me make a phone call. Yeah, my man, you still at Hershey's? Alright, cool. Yeah, you still golf with the dude from Balenciaga on Thursdays? Can you I'm gonna send you a little video clip. Can you show it to him?
Yep. That's true. And as unfortunate as that is, and I think the idea too is that, we'll deal with our own. The problem with that is that a lot of people don't get held accountable for the things they do within that. It tends to happen on a likability basis.
Yeah.
If we don't like you that much, we'll make sure we, scorn you publicly. If we like you,
right,
then we'll find grace for you.
I say all the time, people make a lot of excuses for people they're fans of.
Yeah.
A lot of
People
excuses.
Do. People absolutely do.
But the other side?
Nah. And I wish, no. He needs to figure out whatever his shit is at this point. I don't think this is, I know people are saying he's over. I don't believe that.
People saying what?
He's over. Like, this is it for him.
Oh, this is the end of Kanye?
Yeah.
No.
I don't believe that. Because like you said, we are forgiving.
And he's very creative.
Yeah. And there's ways around the things that you do. And people over time find ways to forgive you or find a way to get you back in there if you stay quiet for a little while. The problem with Kanye is that he's so unpredictable and he refuses to keep quiet. And that may be his downfall more than anything else, is that if he keeps on keeping on, at some point people have a limit. At some point people have boundaries.
Right.
And if he crosses them too many times, then yeah, I don't know how often we'll see him after a while. I don't know how many people are going to go out of their way to pick up things that he does or anything like that. I think the next move, even if he were to disappear for a little while, which I don't think he will, but the next move would be, oh, okay, he's back on the scene. We got to find out what he's doing now. There's always going to be, I think, this desire to know what he's going to do next, because that's kind of what's turning into the unfortunate allure of Kanye. It's like, oh, wait, what's coming next? Whether it's from a creativity standpoint or whether it's just from the way he behaves publicly, people want to know what's going to happen next. So I don't think he just goes away because these brands, big brands, huge brands, by the way, because they decide that they don't want anything to do with him. I think if he were to lay low for a little while, I think it's all good.
No, there's going to be an apology tour.
Yeah.
Maybe not today, maybe not this week, maybe not this month, but before he could come out and do more stuff, he's going to have to get on an apology tour. Take a note from Nori and start apologizing.
Where do you think he goes? You think he goes back to Drink Champs?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, Nori said publicly that's my friend and, I'll be trying to help him. So it's possible, but
I'm just curious because there's certain places that won't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole. And then there's other places who are going to want it because it's the story of the year, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering where he lands in terms of a first interview. Like, you think that's a Gayle King situation?
I don't think Gayle wants anything to do with him.
I don't think Gayle would want anything to do with him, but I don't think Gayle wants anything to do with R. Kelly, but she interviewed him.
Touché. Maybe.
I think she's like, she's the Oprah of today, right? Like in terms of these interviews. All right. I don't mean it like that. I mean, who do people go to for these types of interviews? It's Gayle.
You are correct.
Yeah, I think Gayle is the one. I think that's where you go. I think anybody would instruct him that that's where he should go. Now, it doesn't mean that she's going, like, Gayle doesn't typically, Gayle asks the tough questions. So it'll be a win-win.
Sorry, as you're talking, the R. Kelly interview is like...
Right. But it'll be a win-win on both sides, right? And that's kind of, I think, the way R. Kelly's people probably looked at it, right? It's a big get for CBS and Gayle King, but it also allows Kanye an opportunity to tell his side of the story, which he has tried, and he's done a great job. He can keep it.
You don't think he's done a great job?
He can keep it. He can keep it. Well, I'm a freedom fighter. Fuck that. Stop telling us you're a freedom fighter. Who are you fighting for? Yourself? Who? He's not fighting for anyone but himself. And I don't even think he's doing a good job at that.
He's not doing a good job at that. He is not. People are reporting his net worth has plummeted overnight. And that is really interesting. I think all those places are wrong too. Like, I like Forbes, don't get me wrong. But Forbes and CNN, I think their guesstimates are way off. And I think that he has so many different things going on. It's really hard to know what his net worth truly is.
Right.
Because when Forbes initially reported, he was saying, y'all niggas is way off. And we've heard other people say that before. Mm-hmm. About themselves, not about Kanye. Like, I remember Jay said Forbes was way off too at one point.
They thought Kylie was a billionaire when she wasn't a billionaire yet.
Well, some people they push up.
Oh my gosh, there's no dresses.
There's no
coats.
leopard. I could do this, I guess.
Yeah, you can.
I don't want to break your plant though.
It's not real.
I wasn't going to tell him.
It's not real, but all the more reason why you might break it. So
that's what I'm saying. I don't want to break the faux plant. You know what I'm saying?
Anyway, I'm tired. I'm tired of talking about him. I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm tired of people who like Antonio Brown who never mind.
We have a podcast. I don't know if you know.
I'm tired of people like Antonio. I'm not saying that points were not made, right? Because yes, there is that element, and I have said it more than once. There is that element of, well, okay, y'all give a fuck about this now because of what he said and who he said it about. Right. And what happened, what about us? Like, when he was saying all the things he was saying about us, y'all didn't care. Because
that was y'all's business in their opinion.
Right. So
they was like, hey, he could speak to them however he want, long as he keep making us money.
When he came out with the White Lives Matter shirts, y'all didn't say, wow, this is harmful. This doesn't make sense. Like, this is hurtful to black people. No, nobody said that. So I'm not saying that he didn't make a point that needs to be made. Mm-hmm. I can make that point and still see that what he did and what he's doing is wrong, and that there are consequences to your actions.
I think that's really what this boils down to. I think the problem is eventually you piss off the wrong people. Yeah. And I think it's unfortunate that we allowed him as a culture, as a people, to say whatever the fuck he wants, from slavery was a choice to who knows what else. I mean, there's a list of things that he's done and said, and they not with it. He pissed off the wrong people, and those people got cousins and friends and golf members and club members in the right places. And it's one thing to piss off Diddy and Diddy say, hey, I'm gonna come see you soon, right? To now, Adidas and Balenciaga and them, they're not gonna threaten you. They're not gonna riot in front of your crib. They're not gonna, do Twitter, what's the shit when you get 10,000 signatures?
I don't know.
Damn, starts with a P.
A petition?
Petition. They're not gonna petition.
No.
They just gonna start making phone calls.
Well, listen, companies like that, they don't even need to reach out to legal. Legal reaches out to them and goes, nah, this can't work. What are we doing about this? We need to have a meeting.
Right.
We need to have a meeting with all the powers that be, and we need to figure this shit out. So we'll be bringing the paperwork up, and we'll let you know what our options are.
Yep. And I think that's why Adidas is able to lay out their details the way they did. Mm-hmm. Because Adidas putting it all in the street. Yeah, we own this. We own that. This will no longer happen. That will no longer happen. And I think there's probably more in their back pocket.
Yeah. And I think this was, I truly do, I believe this was all strategic. It's to the point that you made a couple weeks ago when we spoke about Kanye, when you were saying that, you know, the things that he does. I think it was the Kanye episode where you said the things he does is very strategic. He's very mindful of what he's doing. I think he was very mindful of this. I think he mapped this one out in his mind. I really do. I think he mapped it out. I think he knew what he was going to do.
But he didn't know how crazy it was going to get.
He didn't know how crazy it was going to get.
Sometimes that happens. You're like, what happens if I just push this nigga?
Yeah.
I just push it. I'm going to just push him.
Mm-hmm.
And then that man just stabs you to death.
Mm-hmm. In over your head. So, you know what? And again, actions have consequences, and
he's learning.
So maybe this is something that needed to happen. Something tells me it's not gonna matter, but you know.
You don't think this little pow pow is gonna work?
No.
Damn.
I think he's that much of a narcissist. I think he's that swept up in his own awe of his brilliance, as he calls it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that he calls himself brilliant.
Right.
I think he's so wrapped up in that. I think he will probably tell himself at night that, you know, well, I guess, you know, I'm a freedom fighter, so, you know, some things had to be sacrificed in order for me to, you know, fight the good fight. What fight he's fighting, I don't know. I can't tell you, because it's not a fight for me.
Right.
And it's not a fight for people who look like me.
No.
Nor is it for anybody else, apparently. So, whatever.
And like we said on the Kanye episode, I think it's really sad. Like, again, I did it on the Kanye episode. I'll do it again.
Yeah.
In the words of J. Cole, your fall from grace was hard to take. It's really hard watching this and seeing one of our greats just be torn apart and self-destruct in this way. It's nasty, but you've done some wild shit, and so here we are.
Yeah. And in the words of DJ Khaled,
don't ever play yourself.
Don't never play yourself. You took the words right out of my mouth. And on that note, I'm good. I don't have anything else to say about Kanye. I'm done.
We're out of here. We now return you to your regularly scheduled podcasting experience.
And I feel like Kanye is this disease that is inhabiting our podcast.
Not a disease.
And speaking of disease, oh my gosh, what was Nas's last album called? Something's Disease?
King's Disease.
King's Disease 3 is coming out soon.
King's Disease 3 comes out on Wakanda Day, which is November 11th.
Okay, I didn't know what date it was.
King's Disease 3, it comes out 11/11. And technically his last album was called Magic. So there was King's Disease 1, King's Disease 2, like months later, and then like 2, 3, 6 months, I don't know, some very short time period after that, him and Hit Boy did a third album called Magic. And on that one, he says, this was just a break. Don't worry, KD3 is coming.
Okay, so that's what's coming out in a couple weeks.
Yes.
Speaking of new music.
Yes.
Some new music came out.
Yes, it did.
And some new music is coming out.
That's true.
So, we just mentioned Nas.
Yep.
Babyface.
Babyface put out a collab album.
With the R&B girls.
Called Girls Night Out?
Girls Night Out.
Okay, I thought I got it wrong.
No, that's it.
It's called Girls Night Out. It's 13 songs. I believe most of it is written and produced by Babyface.
Sounds that way.
I could be wrong, but that's what I understand. I only say could be wrong because it has a very modern sound. Like, this doesn't sound like 90s R&B.
Yeah, maybe he collabs with the girls. I feel like that's probably...
But as I'm saying, I don't know who produced what. I didn't look track by track, and that's how you'd have to know.
Right.
Or do a definitive search. I didn't search anything. I listened to the album.
I'm looking for it.
It has a lot of modern sounds. It has a very modern sound. It's got some interesting features. It's got big names. And it's got up and coming artists as well. And by up and coming, I don't mean like they're doing shows only locally or regionally, but they may, when I say up and coming, I mean like it may not be the same. How do I say this? Because I'm an artist, I never know how to word this stuff. I don't want to offend other artists. I don't mean that nobody ever heard of them. They have followings, but what I mean is they're not someone who is... Some of the artists are not people who have huge hits or on top 40 charted records. It's a lot of the newer artists that are on this project. So that's what I mean. I don't mean that they suck or that they aren't talented or that they don't have followings. That's not what I'm saying. But there are up and coming artists. There are newer artists on the project and some seasoned vets. Kalani's on there. Ella Mai's on there. Ari Lennox is on there. Tiana Major.
Seven Streeter.
I would say I think Seven Streeter's on one.
Mooney Long. She's
Coco
a newer artist.
Coco
Jones. Love okay. Coco Jones.
I never heard Coco Jones before this.
She's also an actress. She plays Hillary Banks on the new Fresh Prince show.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Isn't it called Bel Air?
Bel Air, but you know.
I feel you.
I'm old, so I don't call the new old things. I don't call them by their new names. I
dig it.
It's Fresh Prince. It's new Fresh Prince.
This is the remix.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and then there's some other people on there. Every song has a different person, pretty much, except Babyface. Babyface is on, I think he's on every song. I just think his level of involvement vocally is different in every song. Listen, man, it's Babyface in 2022.
Right.
It's great that he's still making music, and it's quality music. Let me be clear.
It is. It's great. I heard maybe half of it so far, and I liked what I heard. You know, it's smooth, and it's like you said, it's Babyface.
I'm not ever mad at a Babyface album.
He's definitely a favorite of mine.
Yeah, and I'm curious. Are we going to hear Babyface with some of his favorites if he's going to be putting out modern music? Like, are we going to hear him with Tony again? I mean, I know, like, we always hear him with Tony. But I'm just saying, like, you know...
Him and Tony are thick as thieves.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what's you know, we going to get some 2022 Babyface and Tony?
I feel like we'll always get Babyface and Tony. I feel like Babyface and Tony, when they get together to kick it, they make music.
Yeah.
It's just that they don't put out all of it.
Yeah, I'm sure she just goes over to hang out and he's like, hey, sing this real quick.
Right. He's like, let me get on the keys.
Or maybe the opposite. Maybe she comes over, she's like, yo, I had this little ditty I was working on. Yeah. He's like, oh, wait, sing that again? All right, hold on, let me get the piano. Where's my guitar? I know.
Right.
No, I put it somewhere.
Oh, you know him and his guitar.
That's why I said it. Yeah,
in his little studio that he has in his house, he loves to get on that guitar.
I think he got a little studio.
Well, okay. The reason I say little is because it looks small, like what I've seen when he's on camera. I'm sure it's a huge.
I heard he has a hallway.
Of his home.
I heard he's got a hallway, and it's a long hallway, and all down the hallway are just all the plaques.
I mean,
of
you gotta be able to walk through the Hall of Fame in your house when you're that.
And I feel like, yo,
if
I was feeling like, I don't know if I want to record today. All right, let me just go to the studio. And then the walk to the studio was walking past all that greatness. I'd be ready to record by then.
Especially if some of the stuff on the wall was like things you didn't even really think that was gonna hit or slap, and you just kind of like, oh well, I remember when I did that. I was just playing around, and then
I was just playing around, and then Michael Jackson made it a hit.
Right, and then all of a sudden it went double platinum.
Who knew?
Yeah, let me just go and fiddle around with my instruments and
All right,
things.
where's Tony? Tony?
Somebody call Tony, get Tony on the phone and let her know that I need to. I'm ready to make some music.
Right. And I think it's really dope that he took the time to, I believe, seek out the young cats.
Yeah.
The young ladies,
I
because I'm
really
sure
cool.
if he wanted to have, you know, the hip hop elders or the R&B elders, it probably is very easy to do so.
Oh yeah.
But I think
One
it's
phone
really
call.
cool. Yeah, I mean that I'm sure he can do that. They'll probably record for free just because he's done so much for them. But I think it's really cool that this new generation of R&B songstresses were sought out to collab with Babyface.
Yeah.
One thing I don't like is the artwork, and I know that don't have shit to do with the album.
Nothing wrong
But
with pointing it out.
it just looks like he paid somebody $30 on Instagram to make it. Like, it don't. And Babyface, I know I ain't shit. I'm nobody. And some of my cover art as a rapper sucks too, as an MC. But I just, when I heard Babyface, I got excited. And then I pressed play. I wasn't even looking at the album art. I just searched up Babyface. It came up. I hit play. My service was spotty. I was on the train. Broke niggas, we be on the train. But then when I got service again later and started looking, I'm like, what the hell is this?
To me, that showed.
That was him trying to be with the new people?
Yes, that was a I'm trying to be down with the young folks, and we don't need that from Babyface. Like, it's okay for you to do an album with the young ones, but the album art don't need to look like. First of all, they're R&B girls. They don't. The album art does not need to look like that at all for any reason.
Just do a photo of all of them chilling in there.
Or it could have had. It could have not.
He could have had all of them just do a selfie. Like, all of them just, all right, everybody get close.
Yeah.
Hey, click.
Or not even do a photo of anyone, but it could have just been really clean.
Like
really,
a bottle of Moet sitting on ice.
Just something.
Because so
really
many things
smooth.
represent girls' night out.
Right.
Could have been like lipstick and makeup on a counter.
Right.
We could do this probably all day.
It could have been a lot of things. It could have been like, I don't know, like dinner, people sitting at dinner and just like cheersing, or I don't know why I say cheersing, you know what I mean, clinking the glasses. It could have been a lot of different things.
If we didn't name our episodes after music,
you would have named it cheersing.
I so would have had this titled Cheersing. And
That's
would have been
not a word.
What is cheersing? I have to play this.
Cheers. Y'all know what I mean.
That is hilarious. Cheersing.
Toasting is what I think I was trying to say.
Wow.
Oh
Cheersing.
my gosh.
I'm gonna say cheersing from now on. Listen, put an emoji of a glass
Pop
in the
this
comments if you feel like we should keep saying cheersing, or if you're willing to keep saying cheersing. And matter of fact, if you see him in the street, just say, "Hey, we should be cheersing."
Right now.
JD, let's start cheersing
Pop
right
the
now.
champagne.
Pop anything. You know what I'm
So we
saying?
can get to cheersing.
Gotta be cheersing. That's it. Wait till I see my daughter. I'm say, hey, you know what it's called when we do this? When we say cheers? Cheersing. You know, like all the memes? I'm having fun. You know all the memes that say like, I'm gonna tell my daughter this is, or I'm gonna tell my kids this is? I'm about to tell my daughter this is.
This is cheersing.
Toasting is cheersing. Yo, some of the memes are so ridiculous.
I don't know why my mind did that.
I saw one, it was a photo of, and I guess everybody has this joke, but just actually seeing somebody write it on there was funny. It was Morgan Freeman. So I'm gonna tell my grandkids this is Jesus.
I saw that one.
Like, oh my
I saw that one. Now that you say, now that you say that, yes, I did.
So funny.
I did see that one.
Can you imagine? Just walk in somebody's crib, they got a big ass picture of Morgan Freeman, and you go to ask them like, "Hey friend, what's up with this Morgan Freeman?" And their grandkids just run in. Who's
Jesus!
that? Who's what? What did you call Jesus? That would be some funny shit.
Yeah, that would be funny. But yeah, so definitely check it out if you can. The Babyface album, I think, it's solid. It's a solid album.
It is.
So far. You listened to the whole thing. I did not.
I can't do my review thing. Y'all know if I don't listen to it twice, I don't really review stuff in depth. I heard it once. I liked what I heard so far.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything.
It's worth listening to.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't hear anything that I was like, ugh, what's this? Skip that. So far, just smooth playthrough.
To me, the voices were familiar, so it made me want to listen more.
Okay.
At least from the beginning of it.
Uh-huh.
I think as you get deeper into the album, I don't know as many of the artists, but some of them I recognize their names, but don't necessarily, can't identify their music just by hearing them yet.
Right.
But it's definitely worth a listen, I think, just off of what I did hear. I can't say that it's like the most amazing album I've heard all year because I haven't listened to the whole thing, but I can say that, you know, if you're into R&B, definitely check it out.
Yes.
I think it is a good mishmash of old and new. Because Babyface has such a distinct sound that makes you nostalgic and makes you think of, you know, classic R&B. But then the new girls obviously have their own sounds, and I think it's a cool combination, a cool blend of sounds. So I would definitely say check it out if you're into stuff like that.
I agree. And if you're into hip hop, there's a lot of wild shit happening.
Yeah.
But specifically, DJ Drama is wildin' in a good way. DJ Drama just dropped 3 projects. 1, 2, 3 projects.
And 1 on the way.
And announced another 2 technically.
Oh, 2 on the way, actually.
Yeah, so he announced, so first let's start with what came out. He did a project with Dave East. He did a project with Snoop. And he did a project with Jeezy, which is great.
Okay.
And I'll circle back. But then he announced another one coming with NBA Youngboy. And then a podcast that we're both fans of, which I'll leave nameless, y'all can figure it out, called him. And he said, oh yeah, also, no one knows this, so only your listeners will know. But now ours will too. DJ Drama has his own album coming out soon.
Good for him.
Crazy stuff.
He's killing it right now.
He is bodying it right now. It is a mass murdering spree right now.
Okay.
He's going off.
That took a turn that I wasn't expecting. A mass murdering spree.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
He's a hip hop serial killer. Like, he's wildin'.
Okay.
Anyway, so DJ Drama has released a lot of music in the last couple months. Like, really this year. He's been on a tear. But yeah, 3 projects this year. If you thought niggas could do too much, well, DJ Drama said, let me do a little more.
Let me do a little something extra.
So, yeah. So the project with Jeezy is really cool. Something I didn't know is apparently Jeezy was having issues with his label, Def Jam. Apparently he said his last couple projects were not great because he was trying to get his masters back and do certain things to make sure the business was good.
Okay.
I guess the business is good now because this shit is dope. Sounds like quote unquote old Jeezy.
Okay.
Sounds like the Jeezy we all love, TM 103 type shit.
I dig it.
Great project. It's like 17 songs. This ain't no EP. This is a full body of work.
Okay. You sound really excited about it.
I'm a Jeezy fan.
That's
clear?
Yep. And that's fine. I like Jeezy too.
I feel like we should be cheersing Jeezy. I couldn't help it.
It's just your level of enthusiasm for Jeezy, you know, it's just different. It's not because your levels of enthusiasm obviously change from artist to artist.
It depends who it is.
You know, right now you sound energized. You sound pumped. You know, when we talk about like Wayne or Drake, you know I had to do it when we talk about people like that.
Yeah, you mention Wayne like every pod. Leave that man alone. He don't be doing nothing to nobody. He just be minding his dreadlock business. And you mention him every pod. Like if we're beefing, Wayne is cool.
Y'all are not beefing. I'm just
when God Did came out, I came up here and gave Wayne all type of props.
All of the props. I'm just saying your level of excitement, like you.
I'm not a Wayne fan.
That's my point.
I'm a Jeezy fan. I get excited.
It's obvious that you are a Jeezy fan.
Listen, when Ross put out good music, I'd be excited too.
No one gets more excited than me.
I know you'd be more excited than Ross
when Ross comes out. Okay,
right?
That's my guy. All right.
Okay, well, I like Jeezy. I'm excited to hear Jeezy's back.
Listen, this is not a complaint. This is an observation. Okay. This is an observation. You got all the energy. I want to go listen to the Jeezy album now.
You should.
Because you are...
Press play right now. Nah, it's a good project.
Good.
And I like, Drama. Drama's on the tear. So the fact that he linked up with Jeezy... excuse me. The fact that he linked up with Jeezy to do something in 2022 and we haven't heard a solid project from Jeezy in a minute... To me, that means a lot. To me, that speaks volumes. Mm-hmm. And the project is good. I mean, it's got something for the people who like the current sound, people who like old Jeezy, people who like talk shit Jeezy, people who like Jeezy on a deeper introspective side. Mm-hmm. Jeezy did his thing. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I'm ready to listen to it.
I actually posted one of the... I don't really do that too much with rap, but I posted one of the songs on my Instagram.
Okay.
Story. I couldn't remember the term. Story.
It's a story.
Allegedly. It's a Snapchat.
Reportedly.
It's a snap.
So...
Speaking of music. More girl beef.
And speaking of,
Oh, real quick. I forgot to say this. I'm sorry to cut you off.
All right.
I have not heard the Snoop project.
Okay.
But I have heard that the Snoop project is really good.
Okay.
The DJ Drama Snoop project. Sorry, I didn't want to leave Snoop out. Mm-hmm. I just haven't gotten to listen to it yet. Because I knew about the Jeezy one.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the Snoop one until late last night.
Okay.
So I haven't had a chance to run through it yet.
Okay. I mean... I would be curious to listen to all of these and, see what direction it went in. So, I'll check it out. Unfortunately, I have not checked it out yet. But, I just found out about it right before we started to pod. So,
Hey, you listen to Babyface. I ain't mad at you.
I did listen to Babyface. I did. I'm getting better at listening to new music. But, after you make the music... and you put it out to the public, sometimes you get nominated for awards. And
sometimes they move you to a different category.
And you gotta, get on the internet and tell the girls how you feel.
I don't know if you gotta do that part, but you can tell the people what happened and then we can discuss.
I mean, Miss Minaj. So... Nicki gets nominated for a Grammy. This is for her song, help me out, Freaky Girls, I think it's called. Freaky Girls. Super freaky girl, Nicki Minaj. She gets nominated for a Grammy.
Yep.
And
then what happens? And then what?
And then... they move her
from
the rap category
to where?
To the pop category.
What?
Okay, so basically what happened is her team submitted it under the rap category. Instead of nominating her under the rap category, they put it under the pop category. So it was submitted as rap. And the Grammy folks said, let's put it under pop. That's what happened. She got on the internet and she was like, hold up. She gets on the internet.
Sorry.
She says,
I'm a big Sean fan. Sorry.
Me too.
That's when you said hold up like that.
Even though every time I say my Big Sean line, you think it's Drake. Which is... Anyway.
I just tried to, It's a rough pod, this one.
This is a stressful pod. I don't think our pod has ever been this stressful before.
No, it's the new setup.
It's the I don't know.
Just take everything back in the clock. Chris,
something about the energy in this room.
He's on a store run.
Something about the energy in this room is just not. Chris better get my sunflower seeds. Anyway, so yeah, so she gets moved to the pop category. She then gets on the internet, and we should point out that, because it's relevant, that Latto was nominated under the rap category.
For Big Energy.
Nicki gets on live somewhere.
Live? I thought it was Twitter.
I thought it was a live she did. Okay, well,
whatever.
If it was
she went on social media.
She went on social media and she said, hey, I think maybe she tweeted and then she did a live. I think she did both.
Whatevs.
She gets on the internet and she's like, I don't understand why I was moved from one category to the next. And if I am supposed to be in the pop category, then Latto should be in the pop category as well. Then she shouldn't be in the rap category. Nicki points out that she raps throughout the entire song, Super Freaky Girl, and so she doesn't understand why she would be moved from the category that she feels she deserves to be in, and she is a rapper. Why is she being moved to the pop category?
She also pointed out that Latto sings on the song and that the sound is pretty much the same. She gave some specificity as well about the details of each record, and she used that as the example of why she should be able to remain in the rap category and not be moved to the pop category.
Right.
In which Latto had some things to say, which I don't think we should read 1,000 tweets.
No.
But Latto said some things back, and then Nicki said some things back. Latto tweeted that there was a phone call that didn't end well, and they were going back and forth on Twitter. This was probably a week ago now, maybe even longer, but it is something that we feel should be brought to light for several reasons. That's what happened, and now our thoughts. You want to spark it?
I want to read something that Nicki said.
Go for it.
Okay, so this is according to Billboard.com. She says, if you can't tell by now that there is a concerted effort to give newer artists things that they really don't deserve over people who have been deserving for many years, then you're not paying attention. She continued, and soon female rap will really not have any black women. If you pay attention, you'll see, you'll understand. So Nicki, I just wanted to read that to point out that Nicki thinks this is something deeper. Nicki, and it's my understanding that I don't keep up with the Grammys a whole lot, like down to like the nuance of it all. I keep up with it so much so far as maybe watching it every now and again or looking at clips and things like that and paying attention to who won. But I don't necessarily get into the weeds of how often people are nominated or things like that. Now, what it's been my understanding since this came out is that Nicki has been slighted. People feel that Nicki has been slighted by the Grammys previously.
Yes, that is a view.
So this is part of what she's saying. She's saying not only does she have an issue with the Latto part of it, but there is this bigger issue of them kind of trying to push her off and prop other people up in front of her instead.
Yeah.
Now, I do think that time served. I know that's not the right way to say it.
I was about to say what?
I'm sorry. I was watching a lawyer show all day yesterday. And
Speaking of time served. No, I'm just playing. But we will speak about something that has to do with time served in a moment.
I do think that level of experience and longevity should definitely be, people should get their flowers, right?
Okay.
I don't think that it means being in the game a long time means that you just automatically get things.
Okay.
But I do think that, I don't think longevity means that people have to be given anything.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but I do understand. I do understand being an artist as huge as Nicki, and knowing that you, at least at some point, were at the top of your game when we're talking about female rappers. You can't have a conversation about female rappers without talking about Nicki Minaj. That's just, she's a staple when it comes to that. And
yes.
So I can understand her frustration, if maybe not today, right? But maybe there was a time over the course of her career where, yeah, the Grammys didn't really acknowledge her talent
mm-hmm.
and how well she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So then now, when she submits and they're like, okay, we'll throw you a bone, but then it's not for the category that she thinks she deserves, I mean, that's frustrating. What's frustrating for me?
They're not throwing her a bone. Putting Nicki in pop makes it harder for her to win.
I mean, throwing her a bone by even accepting doing the nomination, because they don't have to do that either. They can just.
But that would be hard to justify because.
Yeah, but they do it all the time.
But Super Freaky Girl has been doing very well on the Billboard charts and all that stuff.
That's true, but there's a lot of people who get snubbed off of award nominations. Even if they're at the top of the Billboard charts, there's been people who haven't been nominated in the past.
Okay.
So I'm not saying that they did her a favor. I'm just saying I would imagine that's how they look at it. Like, oh well, we'll put you in pop. You want to be nominated? Cool, we'll nominate you, but we'll put you over there. I think that happens. I think that still happens today. As much as people complain about the Grammys and how they're not being equitable, or they're not acknowledging artists that should be acknowledged, I think this is all a part of it. So what's frustrating for me though was what I was gonna say is, you can say it without bringing up Latto.
Yes.
I think that's where I land on that. I don't have a problem with Nicki having a problem with the way she thinks she's being treated, but I don't think she needed to bring Latto into the conversation in order to have it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think bringing up Latto was necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a phone call that happened. Latto states on Twitter, and there's a lot of back and forth prior. Including some colorism comments, which I think are really weird for multiple reasons. But I think there's a lot to be said about all of the. I think there's a couple different parts of this conversation. No, I think there are a couple different things to discuss when it comes to this topic. I think there are multiple layers to the conversation, is what I'm trying to say. So I think. 1, you have what the Grammys did. 2, you have what Nicki did. And 3, then there's a lot of perspectives about the beef.
Right.
The Grammys do whatever the fuck they want. There are plenty of big artists, legends, stars, icons, whatever you want to call it, in our culture who are not down with the Grammys, don't go, don't support, don't care if they win, because the Grammys have been known to do a lot of fucked up shit. snub people, fuckery. If you don't perform, you're not gonna win, etc. So I don't think this is some abnormal, super crazy move on the part of the Grammys, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
Now, maybe they've done this before and we haven't heard about it, or maybe we're just not as knowledgeable on this topic. But I don't think it's a cool move on their part. If someone submits for a category, they should probably stay there. But being that I don't know how often the Grammys does or does not do this, I don't know what more to say than that. But I think it's foul. If it's happened before, it's foul then too.
I have
just
a hunch
like
that they
them
probably do it
telling.
all the time.
I have no knowledge, so I can't comment. But we spoke about how the Grammys last year, I think it was, said that The Weeknd had to come perform. That was right when we started doing the pod, no?
Yeah, that was when we started doing. That might have been our first episode.
Yeah, because they told The Weeknd he had to come perform to be nominated or some shit. Anyway, the Grammys does whatever the fuck they want. So
But he couldn't
there's
because
that.
he was doing the Super Bowl.
Well, he chose. They told him, if you're going to do the Super Bowl and not come here, whatever. Y'all could go look it up. It doesn't matter at this point. But the point is, the Grammys is known for fuckery. That's not new. Now, what Nicki did. Nicki's statement about being moved, not being supported, being snubbed throughout her career, I don't have any issue with any of that. She should speak up for herself. If you go to a job and feel that you're not being acknowledged for the work that you're doing, even when you're doing good work, I see nothing wrong with speaking up about it. I do think it's the way you speak up about it. If I feel a job is not treating me well, I can't burn down the building. I can't picket sign outside and say y'all ain't shit. And I definitely can't say this person doesn't deserve to be employee of the month.
Right.
And I think that's really where the issue comes. I don't think there's an issue with her speaking out. I think she should speak out. And in fact, I'm shocked more people have not been supporting her.
Right.
Maybe it's because of the way she did it. I don't know. But yeah. Nicki is a huge artist still today. The fact that Super Freaky Girl, right? That's what it is? Super Freaky Girl is charting the way it is, speaks volumes, and tells you Nicki is still a powerhouse in music. And yeah, she's right. There are other songs with the same tempo, with people singing on them, that are still nominated as rap. So her points are valid. But sometimes it's the message, it's not the message, it's the way you deliver it. It's the approach. If you felt like, oh, JD's putting on some pounds, and he's like, hey, JD, I noticed your sweater was a little more snug than normal. You want to take a walk with me later? That's different than being like, yo, you's a fat bastard, yo. What the fuck is wrong with you? Very different.
Definitely different. Yes. Thank you for that analogy.
It's about approach. So I think that's part of the issue. Now, the Latto beef and the Nicki beef. It seems like this is not just about, because I went back and read all the tweets. It's too many to put on the screen, too many to talk about. We'd have to do a whole pod about it, and I'm not interested in doing so.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's necessary.
Right. But it seems to me that this is about more than just this Grammy nomination. It seems to me that there are, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe people are just being petty because there are screenshots being posted or were posted. I haven't seen anything in the last couple of days, but there were screenshots that were posted, conversations from the past were referenced. I don't think this is a new thing. I think this is a lot deeper than the Grammy nomination.
You think you think they already had beef? Is that what you're saying? And she used this Grammy situation to kind of take a dig at Latto. in addition to her gripes with the Grammy, with the Recording Academy, she took an opportunity to take a shot at Latto at the same time.
Yes, that's what I think.
Okay.
I think that something.
Clarifying.
Yeah, I think something was brewing.
Okay.
Because in Latto's tweet, she says Nicki has subbed her many times before.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's true or not. Sometimes people feel things are a sub and they're not.
And they're not. That's true.
But Latto said she has receipts, quote unquote. I don't know. Listen, it's messy. My thing is, if there's beef, put it on wax. Like,
yeah, I'm tired.
If
of
there's
the
beef,
internet beef.
go
with the rap
record it.
girls.
Fuck Twitter. You know, fuck going live. Air it out the way that it could be. That it could be profitable to both of you.
Yeah.
And to be clear, because I guess this is kind of going backwards to the Grammy point, or maybe Nicki's point, whatever. I think, yeah, the Grammys are trying to snub Nicki. If you put Nicki in a category where now instead of being with the rappers only, she's with Beyonce, Adele, and Taylor Swift, yes, Nicki has less of a chance
There's no
of
way
winning.
she wins that category.
It's harder. Not saying it's impossible, but it's harder. I don't know how you would do it. I agree. It's very unlikely.
I think it's impossible, honestly. I think it's impossible for a Nicki. And I think you put any of those girls, I'm talking about the rap girls specifically, into that category with those specific people.
No, I think
the odds are stacked.
I don't think
against
any of them even could be there.
Right, but
because Nicki's a pop star.
Sure, but I guess my point is,
and that is where things get challenging.
My point though is that it would be hard for anybody to be in a category with those specific people.
Sure,
because the deck is stacked in their favor.
Sure,
and it's already hard enough to try to figure out which one of them gets picked this time, right?
Right.
So that's what I mean when I say you could put any of the rap girls there, and it's still it would be an uphill battle for them to win that category.
Yes.
But yeah, Nicki is, Nicki's pop.
Oh, I don't disagree with that. But the lines
Nicki's
are
also a
blurred
rapper.
in 2022.
Yeah.
A lot of the hip hop is the number one genre, therefore popular music is hip hop. But there is a conversation happening where some people feel that Nicki should just do like Silk Sonic did and say, we're going to bow out. Don't bother nominating us. Let other people get a chance.
So, funny you say that. I have Bruno Mars' statement pulled up right here and ready to go.
Go for it.
So, Rolling Stone reports that Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak will not submit their album An Evening with Silk Sonic for Grammy consideration. Bruno Mars tells Rolling Stone, "We truly put our all on this record, but Silk..." Kanye, can I finish?
I did not know he said that shit.
Yes, he did. Wait, no, there's more. There's more.
Excuse
me. Listen, we truly put our all on this record, but Silk Sonic would like to gracefully, humbly, and most importantly, sexually bow out of submitting our album this year. We hope we can celebrate with everyone on a great year of music and partake in the party. Thank you for letting Silk Sonic thrive.
Sexually?
And this just furthermore,
sexually?
Furthermore, it's right here. Sexually. Furthermore, Rolling Stone says that An Evening with Silk Sonic was expected by critics to receive multiple nominations and be a top contender for Album of the Year at the 2023 Grammys. Its lead single, Leave the Door Open, swept all 4 categories it was nominated in April's ceremony, including Song and Record of the Year. So, yeah.
Wait, but read it again?
Sexually. It did say sexually.
No, I know, but just one more again.
Oh, and then he further says...
No, read
No,
it again.
wait. He further says, Andy. The fuck is going on? Andy and I, and everyone that worked on this project, won the moment the world responded to Leave the Door Open. Everything else was just icing on the cake, he says. We thank the Grammys for allowing us to perform on their platform not once, but twice, and awarding us at last year's ceremony. We'd be crazy to ask for anything more. Thank you to everyone that supported this project and championed it. Now I'm done. Sexually, yes. He said sexually. He said most importantly, sexually.
I wouldn't have to deal with this on Mars. I just wouldn't. But I do want to say I told you so. Last time the Grammys were out and they won, I said it would be fucked up if next year, because of when the album came out, they won again. And what did that shit just say? Critics highly expected for them to sweep categories.
And they knew that, and they knew they were going to get shit for it. And that's why they said, you know what, let's bow out gracefully, because honestly, we've already won.
That nigga Bruno said, listen, I got mad Grammys. This shit...
He said, I don't want nobody yelling at me.
If I'm going to get scolded for winning more of these shits, listen, somebody else can have... You want one of mine?
Right, like...
He was like, my assistant is somewhere around here. Get the one all the way in the back.
Can somebody give Nicki one of my Grammys, please? That's real. Like, please, it doesn't matter what category it was for. Give it to Nicki. Give it to Nicki.
Let's move on. That nigga said
sexually. Which,
most importantly, sexually. I should put that on a shirt.
I mean,
most importantly, ..
It's a good sexually.
And just leave it like that.
That's a good line. That's a good line. I can't even. I'm not even gonna lie to you. So, next on the docket, speaking of award shows, we've got Soul Train Awards is coming up in a couple of weeks.
Okay. You got some nominees?
I wanna run down the nominees real quick.
Do it.
Oh my gosh, there's a lot of people in these in these categories.
Alright, so should we skip it and just wait till there's winners?
Yeah, maybe we skip. Okay, let's do maybe the top nominees. Beyonce. I think we knew that Beyonce was gonna be. What's that face?
I don't know what to do with myself right now. I really don't.
What's the matter?
I just want to go to Mars. So bad.
Alright, you wanted to skip it?
What's the Soul Train Awards for?
It's
black music, no?
It's soul, yeah. R&B soul.
R&B soul.
R&B and soul. R&B soul.
Which one of those is Beyonce right now?
A lot of people say Beyonce's R&B. I don't listen to Beyonce albums, so I don't know what.
Make sure I'm looking at all the cameras.
But look, Break My Soul is nominated. What else? Move. Her, Thames, and Grace Jones. Make Me Say It Again, Girl. Beyonce, the Isley Brothers, and Ronald Isley. I mean, the usual suspects and other people as well are nominated.
I need a friend that makes pop music because...
Mary J. Tank. Chris Brown, Sean Combs, a.k.a. Diddy, and Bryson Tiller.
The fuck are they nominated for?
Best collaboration. We got Lizzo. We got
the
Ari
same
Lennox.
one song that we
Burna Boy.
This has been our episode.
All right.
Thank you for being
we
here.
We will wait until the 2022 Soul Train Music Awards actually airs so that we can talk about the winners, and then we can get a little bit more deep into the categories. I don't think it makes sense to go through it now that I'm looking at it. But Chloe Bailey, Have Mercy. Oh, but that's dance performance. But see, this is interesting because Beyonce is not nominated in the dance category.
I just want to go to Mars, man.
But Bruno Mars is. And Anderson .Paak.
Whose spaceship I gotta get on? Elon Musk,
Doja Cat,
Jeff Bezos. Like,
Chris
who I
Brown
gotta
is
holler at?
nominated twice in the dance category.
And he should be nominated in every dance category.
I mean,
Chris Brown is dance.
Yeah.
Especially if it's performance.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Brown is speaking of Chris Brown and performance.
Oh.
Come on, this is all yours. You want me to get up and walk away so you can have this moment on camera by yourself? You want me to do like Abba and Preach and just
leave?
Walk away and let you have this one? Want me to go step away and get some water or something?
No, I want you to sit here and listen to what happened.
Oh, I mean, I know what happened, but come on.
So last Saturday I wake up.
Oh, story time.
Last Saturday I wake up. You know, I do my normal thing that I do on Saturday mornings. You know, I make a little breakfast. I worked out. I made a little breakfast, you know. And then I got on the internet. You know, I checked some things, posted to LHRC, you know, all of that. Song of the day and things like that. And then I noticed there were all these videos. When I went on Twitter, all these videos of Chris Brown and Usher. It turns out that it was Usher's 44th birthday. Shout out to Usher for turning 44 and, you know, still dancing like he's 25.
Yes, I heard on Hardly Minding My Business that I heard it was a lot of Usher praise on that episode of the pod.
Yeah, and there's about to be a lot of Usher praise right here.
Oh, I know.
And Usher decided for his birthday, you know, he's doing his residency in Vegas. He decided for his birthday that he was going to bring out some friends. And he brought out a bunch of people. But one of the people, the person that stood out to me was none other than Breezy, aka Chris Brown. We have talked about Usher and Chris Brown before and whether we think they should do a versus battle or not. Usher and Chris Brown have quite a bit of music together. Really? So they do.
So there's only like 2 songs.
It's more than 2 songs. It's definitely more than 2 songs.
Oh, I guess I'm slacking.
I even think there's one that's more recent.
I know they got the one with Rick Ross.
New Flame. Love that song. New Flame. They've got Fuck You Back.
That's that funny.
I was trying to figure out a way to say that without saying it that way. And yeah, they have
What's
that.
wrong with saying it that way?
Excuse me, because that's not actually how you say it. It's Back to Sleep. Cut that out. It's Back to Sleep. They have other songs together too. But yeah, so they make great music together. They just, you know, they performed together on stage last week. And it was great. But the moment that I enjoyed was Usher turning to Chris Brown, and he put his hands on his shoulders and looked him in his eye and was like, "You are a legend." And I dug that. I thought that was beautiful.
That's what he said?
I love that. That's what he said. That's what he said. You know?
He was crying?
No.
Teared up?
I thought it was nice.
No, it's okay to cry.
I thought it was nice.
I just want to know if you cried.
No.
One thug tear, or like did you ball up ugly crying? Like,
nah, if I cried, it was a thug tear.
Yeah.
Nah. Thug tears over here. But yeah, I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was wonderful to see. I think it's always great when, you know, someone who kind of paved the way for you looks at you and says, "Hey, you're great too."
Yes.
I think there's something to be said about that.
Yes.
And also on some level, you know, they're peers. And so it's nice to have, I said on some level.
You did. Let me shut up.
They're both R&B singers.
You did. You're right. Listen, when you write, and you right.
So that's also great to have some, because I mean, let's be serious. Usher is older than Chris Brown, but
when you write, you right, and
you know,
you right.
I think that's nice too, and I think that what we do know about Chris Brown, and I said this on Hardly Minding My Business, is that he tends to be very humble when it comes to other artists that have paved the way.
Yep.
So I'm sure for him that was an important moment because, again, like, someone who has done it and done it so well and is still doing it so well can look at you and see your greatness as well. Like, that's a flex. That is, and maybe he didn't need it, but I'm sure it's nice to hear.
Absolutely.
You know? So I thought it was great. And I mean, listen, I love R&B. I love Usher. I love Chris Brown. I try.
You got some avocado in your mouth just now?
I'm getting a FaceTime call while we're potting.
Well, ignore that shit. We're potting. I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Because I don't like to say that I love Chris Brown. But I do. I thought it was great. That's it. We don't really have to get into it. There's nothing else to say about that. I just thought it was, I thought it was nice.
It was beautiful.
It made my heart sing a little bit.
I didn't know your heart could sing. Who knew that?
Well, now you know. Now you know. Well, listen.
You got something else on Chris Brown and Usher?
No, I was gonna say we have something that, you know, is not so pleasant that we have to close it out with.
G-Dep? Actually, you're wrong.
I'm wrong?
Yeah, and that's why I thought we should discuss it. So, apparently... So, for those who don't know, G-Dep turned himself in years ago. Mm-hmm. It was 8 or 10 years ago. G-Dep turned himself in. No warrant was out or anything, but he walked in a precinct and said, hey, I shot someone when trying to rob them years ago. Mm-hmm. And he turned himself in. Okay. Apparently what happened was they did a search of murders in the area during that time frame. Mm-hmm. And we're like, oh, J.D. died 6 blocks from there.
Don't say that. Don't use yourself as an example, please.
It's fine. And they were like, oh, a person died in that area. Seems like it matches up. And they basically pinned that on G-Dep.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
So the prosecutor has been looking into different things because there's some clemency and different things being granted for people during certain times because of certain things happening in these current times. Mm-hmm. So the prosecutor looked at G-Dep's case and was like, oh, but this ain't even really evidence that he did it.
Right, yeah.
Why was he prosecuted? And is now saying G-Dep should be let free with time served. Wow. Because even if he did shoot someone, there's no evidence that he killed someone. Murdered someone, yeah. So even if it was involuntary manslaughter or whatever,
he's already served his time.
He's already served what would have probably been the time he did get.
How long has he been in prison?
8 years, I believe.
Oh my God, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. Because, whatever crime is committed, once charges are brought up, trial has to happen. Right. And in America, the average murder trial can take anywhere from 2 to 10 years. Right. Yeah. So, it's usually not 10 years, but the point is, at a minimum, they're usually 2 years. Yeah. So, yeah, he's been in jail for 8 years, and the prosecutor is publicly stating that he believes G-Dep should be let out with time served.
Well, I hope he gets out.
I think he should be let out. Yeah. Because if there's no evidence that he killed this person, yes, he's wrong for shooting the person, and clearly that's why he turned himself in, because
And how many people are turning themselves in after they shoot someone?
Well, especially with no warrants out or anything, it means that internally it was bothering him. Mm-hmm. At that time, I'm not going to say he was still a huge star, but he had hit records. He was doing his thing with Bad Boy.
He had us doing the Harlem
Shake. And even if you want to argue that his career was fizzling down, he still didn't have to turn himself in. There was nothing that said, hey, go turn yourself in. There wasn't a warrant. Yeah. He wasn't being investigated that we know of or anything like that. It was something that clearly was bothering him internally, that was on his mind, that he felt guilty of. Mm-hmm. And he did the right thing. So all of that speaks volumes to me.
Yeah.
I hope that he's let out. I hope that he has a clearer conscience at this point. And I hope that he's doing well physically, mentally, spiritually. And let G-Dep out.
Free G-Dep.
8 years is a long time.
That is a long time.
And shooting someone or not, I'm not glorifying that he shot someone. I'm not clapping for him or saying he did a good thing, but clearly he knows he did something wrong.
Right.
He served 8 years for technically a crime he didn't commit, because murder and shooting someone are not the same thing.
Right.
So
it's interesting. I didn't know that.
Me either. That information just fell in my lap the other day, and I was like, "Oh, we gotta talk about this on the pod."
That's crazy. Well, I wish him well. I do.
Word. Let G-Dep out.
Yeah. Well,
we're done?
On that note,
thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. See you on Mars. Let us know if you like the new setup. Actually, fuck y'all. Don't let us know.
Hey, we need to know how you feel about it.
I'm just kidding.
But I'm not.
Shit, guys.
We don't really need to know.
I'm trying to play.
I mean, unless there's a problem with the sound or the visuals, then no, I don't care what anyone thinks about our new setup. I'm being honest. I mean, if your audio, if there's a problem with the audio or the video for this podcast, please let us know that you're having a problem so we can fix it. But in terms of our aesthetics, either you want to watch us or you don't. So, but thank you for being here. We appreciate it. I hope you come back. Hope your flights are safe.
Mars.
Yeah. All right. That's it.